Automobilista 2 with big news and much more right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@rumrum.net. We should really have learned by now. If we're skipping 1 week because of meager news situation, the next week the news are going to be massive. We already told you about the excellent Fanatec bundle or the even more excellent C5 bundle. Check the links we just put up there to the right and up, and we can tell you the NASCAR Next Gen car is going to come out as DLC for NASCAR Heat 5 soon. We're not sure if it's not just a cosmetic change though. Back to today's news. In all truth, we don't know where to look first, or well, we do, but there's so many interesting segments today that we advise you to roam the video. After the Automobilista 2 segment, which we suppose will interest you all the most, because these are massive news. Le Mans, Rallycross, a new way to get all Automobilista 2 DLCs, but listen, don't skip the other news segments. We have NASCAR ACC on console, we've got a lot to tell you, so let's start. Console racers rejoice! The for now only halfway playable sim you can race on consoles is at last bringing an update. I mean, it happens so seldom and so late comparable to the PC version that Assetto Corsa Competizione's update for consoles is even big news. That says a lot, and not all of it good. On this Tuesday the 27th, expect your Assetto Corsa Competizione to update if you're on console, bringing the physics updates PC users got with the 1.9.3 update. The tires will be more realistically simulated, the suspension won't allow the setup shenanigans of the past, or at least not as much as before the update. And as happened with PC users, console users will be able to get the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo for free as an expansion of their garage. Other expansions like the Ferrari 296 GT3, Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 and Porsche 911 GT3R that are sold as DLC on PC are sold as DLC for consoles too. But hey, now your version of Assetto Corsa Competizione is up to date, at least until the next hotfix for PCs. Of course they were going to do that, being partners and all. Beloved IndyCar and NASCAR driver Tony Kanaan and Asetek have revealed a Tony Kanaan branded bundle of load cell pedal set, which seems to be a branded La Prima, 12 Nm DD base and a Formula rim, again possibly a rebranded Forte, which will only be available through Micro Center either in real life or through their website, see the link in our description, within their TK Racing brand. TK, Tony Kanaan. Get it? This bundle will be compatible with any hardware updates Asetek publishes in the future. Be aware that you won't find the bundle online through the TK brand site, but by searching for Asetek or following the link in our description. On the wings of the incredible success of NASCAR 21... Are we kidding? In search of at least some money out of the tin tops, NASCAR has sold the rights to an arcade game with the aptly chosen title of NASCAR Arcade Rush. Of course, the press release is filled with utter bullshit like totally re-engineered or hair-raising turns. But on with the news. There's going to be tracks like Talladega, Daytona and Arlington in the game, cars from any period of NASCAR's racing history, and we're talking 75 years here as NASCAR was founded in February 1945, and you'll be able to play online with up to 12 people. Don't ask me why the number's so small. While the game is planned to come out on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch and PC, for now you can only pre-order it for PS5 at the price of £40. On Steam you can't even wishlist it. And as you can see from the screenshots, purists may want to stay away from this game, which looks like any other arcade game, only this got painted Nascar for what we expect was a nice sum. Fanatec have released a new firmware update for all their wheels and even their Handbrake, which you can install via Fanal app, which as far as we can see has not been updated. In it, some issues with crashes have been solved. The wheelbase page is always shown so you can troubleshoot any issues with it better, and the hints on mouse over are shown longer time. You can now min-max calibrate your USB handbrake, but will have to update its firmware first, and several corrections in the way the Tray app communicates and works with the mobile apps have also been fixed. All in all, a ton of small fixes for small issues, which can be as unnerving as one big issue. And don't forget the reduced CSL-DD bundle, see the link up there. Two things about Rennsport. First of all, you can wishlist it if you feel so inclined, only on the Epic Game Store for some reason. Clearly, it's made in Unreal Engine 5, Epic's newest and shiniest graphics engine, but exclusively? If you want to though, follow the link in our description. Second is the opening issue of Rennsport Under the Hood. Yeah, the link's also in our description, where the Rennsport PR team will give us glimpses of what's going on in the development of the sim. Let's see how often it gets updated, but of course we'll keep an eye on it and tell you anything we see there that's of importance. If it doesn't become just a dump for PR and the contents already within do not make us think this is a real risk, this is a great idea for keeping everyone on the loop. Right now it has information about Rennsport's rating system, which is based on the same ELO principles most other sims use, and that has its roots in the way chess ratings have been done in the past. They talk about a safety rating, and it seems it will be very much similar to what Assetto Corsa Competizione has, which is lacking, as any contact gets you a penalty no matter whose fault it was. Also, they talk about the upcoming community racing calendar and the split system, which are not rocket science, but good of them to mention and explain those nevertheless. In their own pace, which has nothing to do with Reiza's pace, we'll talk about later in the news, the Raceroom developers are changing things in the sim. The last 2 weeks saw a hotfix and an update bringing new data for aftermarket apps and systems. The shared memory now includes car orientation, though they don't say if it's only on a 2D grid or if it's a 360-degree 3D grid, car width and car length. Also interesting for things like having a SimHub broadcast HUD, Raceroom now provides data like the position at start of the race of a driver. And after the first car has crossed the finish line, the positions are saved as preliminary positions until all drivers have finished the race. The Hockenheim Ring has been updated to its real state in 2023, with penalty lap lane included, change vegetation, start finish line, etc. And these tracks got their compass orientation corrected so that the sun is displayed correctly now. Monza and Sonoma also got some corrections. The Group C cars got a physics update that now uses underbody and diffuser physics calculations, and the differential settings were corrected. The BMW M4 GT3 had an unfair advantage because of lower fuel consumptions than the real-life version, which has now been corrected. Don't blame us when you run out of fuel. And starting tomorrow, they'll have their now almost regular summer sale. Renowned mod makers RSS have released what is their third GT3 car, only they call the series GTM and they call the car a Mercer. While they were at it, they updated the two other GTM cars they had already published a long while ago, the Lanzo and the Biro, and promised more to come. Each of the cars costs 3.79 GBP, and we haven't found a way to change that to a sensible monetary unit. We expect each of the new cars is going to cost as much. It's suspected the next one is going to be an Audi, or whatever pseudonym they invent. And RSS are tight-lipped about a pack with all of these cars. While we at RomRom respect RSS a lot, we are not sure if GT3s are the kind of cars we've been all waiting for. Nevertheless, we've tested the cars and will publish a video about them quite soon. SCS are working on the 1.48 update of their truck simulator games, which now has gone into open beta, and as always are giving us glimpses on a weekly basis about those updates. We normally ignore the smaller ones, but in honor of Cody, we'll report about their big Texas update. They've added 500 more miles in roads to Texas by adding 8 different roads, interstates and highways, including the High 5, which is bonkers. See the picture. They've also added 5 new settlements and the city of Texarkana, a city that is in Texas and Arkansas. Of course, and as was to be expected, this update comes for free to all those who own the Texas DLC. And in other ATS news, the Western Star 49X now has a new cosmetic, the so-called Power Hood. Let's move on to the overall changes in the 1.48. Any pictures, photo trophies, discovered viewpoints, and now also city intros can be found on the gallery, which is ordered by state, then city. You seem all to have liked the custom city intros, so that now SCS have deployed those also for cities in the Washington DLC. And 2 new special transport routes have been brought into ATS. Don't be surprised if some of the mods don't work in the near future, as SCS has changed the way mods work a bit so that mods can be used with any DLC and don't have to be specifically tied to a DLC if they don't need to. This means mod makers have to change their mods a bit to fit again, and this may lead to some hiccups. We expect similar changes to happen in Euro Truck Simulator 2, but don't have any information about it yet. If you would like to support our channel, which we sure wish you would, and can afford it, you can do so by becoming a patron at patreon.com/romrom. Amongst other perks, becoming a patron will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing, and will be able to take part in our decisions. So a big thank you to our patrons and members. If you come here often, please consider subscribing. Hold on tight, as this is going to be a long and exciting ride, for which we have even prepared sub-chapters because there's a lot to talk about. In the first of 2 development updates, Reiza's boss Renato Simeoni offered a plethora of interesting bits. These come directly from him, are official, and confirm most other information we already had. So while everyone was looking at motorsport games and thinking about Le Mans Ultimate, Reiza was finalizing their license conversations with the ACO and are now free to say they have licensed the legendary track. Later this year, supposedly, we all know what to expect of such vague dates within the Reizaverse. Later this year, Le Mans is coming to Automobilista 2 in a laser-scanned actual version, as it's often the case with Reiza, and we almost have come to expect from them they will also bring historic versions of the track. According to Reiza, 70s and 90s versions are already in the making. And yes, this means endurance racing is going to be the next big chunk of racing specialties Reiza is going to be working on. They already have day and night cycles, they have weather and historic weather, now they need to have multiplayer working smoothly, and of course driver swaps and full course yellows. And yes, this means we're getting endurance cars in Automobilista 2 also. Included to those will be 2023 LMDH hypercars and LMPs along with 2023 GT3s. Le Mans Ultimate, eat your heart out. To be precise, Le Mans is going to take a while to be implemented. End of the year is Reiza's goal. Historic versions will take longer than that. Feature changes to address endurance are going to be slowly but surely implemented over time, as do the endurance cars. But we know how giddy this is going to make many of you, mostly because we're giddy too. But endurance is not the only new thing, because allow us to present the next thing Reiza have prepared. There's not many sims that have dirt racing. Assetto Corsa offers kinda dirt racing through mods. iRacing even did a big physics update around dirt racing for season 3 of this year, and that's about it, actually. Not counting the old but still often used Dirt Rally 2, which of course also has Rallycross. With the advent of the Adrenaline Pack DLC, Rallycross is coming to Automobilista 2. Sure, Rallycross was already there in the Madness engine, as anyone who's taken a look at Project Cars 2 knows, but imagine dirt racing on the 1.5 version of the physics. Drooling already? We know we are. Reiza has confirmed they are going to deliver the Mitsubishi Lancer X and the Volkswagen Polo RX into the pack and hope to have secured 2 more licenses until the release of the pack for all you rallycrossers. But one thing I'll be testing for sure is going to be the Rallycross carts, which are also confirmed to be part of the sim with the Adrenaline Pack DLC. Of course, you will be able to race on Rallycross versions of tracks Barcelona, Hockenheimring, Nürburgring and Spa-Francorchamps, and tracks you may know from Automobilista 1 like Ascurra, Foss and Tiki. They tease there's more coming to the Adrenaline DLC yet. Hopefully my beloved stadium super trucks at last, but one thing's for sure, you won't have to sell a kidney to regularly do dirt racing anymore. Talking about selling your kidneys, the Adrenaline Pack will mean the end of the Season Pass 2020-2022, which, as we can for sure tell you because we know how the calendar works, has lasted much longer than 2022. Well, the Adrenaline Pack and the Racing USA bonus pack. Reiza will not offer a second season pass, but they have something similar coming on. Something that offers you a flat rate for DLCs and more. Reiza calls it the Paddock Club, and it's something similar to what they did with a backer early access offer. That offer was something you could buy into when Automobilista 2 still was in Alpha Stadium and lasted until the end of the closed beta. You paid €99 USD, got a key for AMS 1 and all its DLCs, as well as a key for Automobilista 2 and the Season Pass, and the opportunity to drive the beta versions of the sim before they went public. Reiza had made it clear they did not want to offer another Season Pass as they were not happy with the way things went with this Season Pass, but they still wanted to give their fans an opportunity to prepay for any future DLC. Personally, I've got to say that the €99 I paid for the backer offer proved to be one of the best investments I made in sim racing, but others may have differing opinions. Nevertheless, here comes the Paddock membership. Becoming a Paddock member is only possible through the Reiza forum, see the link in the description, and is only offered in US dollars and is only accepted through PayPal. Paddock membership will only be available for a certain time, after which the window of opportunity closes. Paddock membership costs diverging amounts of dollars, depending on how much you are willing to pay and what you already own. So let's go through them quickly, and let's start with saying that all of us who are already backer will automatically become Paddock members. No need to pay anything. Reiza is thankful for our initial support and sees the €99 USD paid then as payment already for the Paddock membership, which I find extremely generous from them and makes the €99 I paid in the early backer program an even better investment. If you own neither Automobilista 2 nor its DLCs, you can become Paddock member for €200 USD Get all past and future DLCs, Automobilista 1 and all its DLCs, and access to beta and release candidate builds. If you own Automobilista 2 and no DLCs, or only a couple of them, $170 will give you all DLCs, Automobilista 1, yada yada yada. And if you own Automobilista 2 and all DLCs already available, plus we suppose the two that will still be included within the season pass, you only need to PayPal Reiza $100 to have access to the beta forum and all Automobilista 2 DLCs. Well, you'd think this would be the end of the segment, but no, Reiza has even more to say in this first of two development updates, like the P1 G5 and the Metalmoto AJR are both sports prototypes of the same class, which you will be able to race against each other as well as against other P1 cars. Many of the tracks have seen details corrected or added, with many of the changes working on extending the maximum possible grid of any track to 26 and even 32 cars. Also, some further improvements have been made to the multiplayer experience, which Reiza will continue to work on, and at last there will be a visible safety or pace car you can and should follow. Pit crews will be dressed according to the time the race takes place on, and you can make the front pillar of the halo transparent in those cars which have it. If you were expecting further infos about the physics changes coming with the 1.5, Reiza promises to deliver those in the next development update in a couple of weeks.